Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the AI 2030 show. My name is Xiaochen Zhang, the CEO of FinTech for Good, and also the host of this show. Today, I have a good friend and also expert in this great topic, and Dominique. And welcome, Dominique. And I'd like to just have you to first introduce yourself.
Well, hello, everyone. I am thrilled to be with you, Xiaochen, today as well. Great to be on that exciting topic and joining AI 2030. So I am Dominique Gribot-Carroz, and I am based in Paris, as you can hear, with my French accent. But actually, I have quite an international career. I've been working for Moody's for 16 years and almost 10 years in Asia, which is very close to my heart as my 3 kids were born there in Hong Kong and India. And now I'm heading customer experience at Moody's Analytics. So at Moody's Analytics, to give you an idea, we are serving nearly 15,000 accounts across the world in more than 100 countries, and we help them navigate exponential risk. And a little bit more on my role, my key responsibilities include voice of the customer at scale across the firm, raising the bar for customer success. We have 300 professionals. We are constantly sharing best practices, using better tools to engage better with clients. I'm also in charge of our client communities. And last but not least, I have a team and we are engaging clients on innovation and, of course, on AI. So therefore, I'm really excited to be here today.
Thank you. And for sure that, when we talk about AI, and one of the, benefits people talk a lot is really about, personalization. And of course, many of the, AI-driven innovation can bring a lot of value to the customers. So, you are leading the customer experience at a very established, high reputational, reputable organization. And how has the concept of customer experience evolved in the digital age? And what are the key factors shaping it today?
Yeah. Well, we can stay high level first, but I think for me, something that has completely transformed the landscape is the convergence of customer expectation between B2B and B2C. Like, today, you and me, we may be on Netflix on Sunday. Well, it's the same person that may connect to Moody's solution on Monday. So really, customer expectation have been rising, and there is a convergence. So B2B businesses, and including us, have realized that they constantly need to raise the bar for their clients, make it easier, listen to them, make sure you detect pain points fast and you solve them. I mean, for instance, I was saying my job didn't exist 2-3 years ago. So I think it's very telling. And you mentioned also some trends we are seeing with the digital age, personalization. I think we'll talk about it today several times. And also for me, something that is super important in the role of customer experience, it's the omni-channel dimension. Like you need to improve the customer experience, with all the touch points and making sure you optimize it intentionally, whether it's at some point high touch engagement or whether it's digital, and adapt that, personalize that per segment, per persona. So it's a long journey, and at Moody's Analytics we have great momentum, but as you imagine, we have also a lot of progress to, and we are very pleased to be engaged on that journey with our clients.
Awesome. Yeah. And what you said just also remind me of a presentation I was at Federal Reserve Chicago yesterday, and Amy Webb, who is the CEO of Future Today Institute, she did a presentation on AI for payment industry, and then one reminder she sent or message she sent to all the payment service provider was that, with AI, and then, everything is information. And combining, the AI technology and also, the transaction related technology, where that's basically many times that's, when we talk about customers, customer may be able to directly to interact or directly with the final service provider. And then many times the traditional customer may disappear, and all your customer may not even be able to find you in the future. And especially in the payment industry. And then she was presenting in the sense that, for any of the transaction now, that you can see the information, and then AI can help you to identify, who is the final seller of this product, and without any intermediary, and then this person can just, buy directly, and then all those information can be curated, and then any, current service provider may just, be escaped in the whole transaction workflow. So I think, the customer experience leader in any organization play a very important role here to, really also not only to improve the experience, for the current customer, and also to watch and remind the organization that, how can we just be still visible in front of our customer, becoming something really, really important in the digital age.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. And, when we look at AI even today, because we will discuss also of, as you were starting to touch on what's coming, but we have already brought a lot of benefits to our clients. For instance, we have all been discussing today the benefit of Gen AI for client engagement. Very, very simple. You can first power your own client-facing people with Gen AI information today that is much more curated. Most organizations I've been talking to are looking at doing that, are having pilot, right? So everybody is working on it, and some organizations are even going a step further. They're already, having a Gen AI chatbot directly client-facing. So that's very concrete. That's already not the past, but that's definitely already happening. What I like as well is because sometimes not everyone is aware that we already use a lot of AI in what we do today. Yeah. And for integration and efficiency benefits. For instance, for us at Moody's Analytics, to give you some example of solutions that have really solved client pain points. One, for instance, KYC world, know your customer, a big pain point for clients is false positive. If you have false positive, you do more time to do your job, and of course, you would like to avoid that. So AI, traditional machine learning, already helps reducing that number and optimizing. And for us, we have seen when our clients are using our solution that we have, enhanced event recently, we see that their customer experience is getting better. Another example I would like to share is about integration. We used to have clients that were saying, well, you have great stuff for me, but here I need to use your credit model. And here I'm finding your financial data, and I need to bring that together and so on. Well, we have launched this year a product which is called a solution called EDFX, Expected Default Frequency X. And what it does, it basically takes our best credit model at Moody's Analytics. It combined with our canonical entity reference database, which is called Orbis. It's covering more than 460 million entities. And powered by AI, it brings to our clients the largest credit score database in the world. And you have early warning system, and you have climate risk assessment, ESG, and so on. We got a fintech breakthrough award on that solution for the best predictive analytics solution. So that's already happening. That's on the market. But sometimes clients may not realize And where it brings benefit is that it's integrate solutions that were, available before, but in different, part of an organization or interfaces for the client. Right now, the client can already use and integrated. So it's already good momentum. It's also great for me as head of customer experience because I have seen some pain points decreasing as we were launching this new initiative. So it's always it puts me in a cheerful mode when I see pain points decreasing.
Yeah, absolutely. That you mentioned quite a number of very exciting benefits, which is specific to AI and optimization, and also combine, different data source to provide better insights and all that. I think, totally makes sense. And also many of the customers will, definitely benefit from that. And as what you said, have already benefit from this, and especially for the product that you shared with us just now. And also, a follow-up question on that is, are there any innovative or emerging concepts in customer experience that have gained prominence in the era of AI? And any exciting new things or new concept which are introduced?
Well, we have talked about personalization. I think with Gen AI, especially for the B2B business, because the B2C has been already there. But with the B2B business, we will be able to enter, the world of hyper-personalization at scale when serving our customer. And that's going to be fascinating. So I'm sure we'll discuss more example. There is another concept I like, Xiaochen. It's the concept of empathy at scale. And the good news with for customer experience practitioner like me is with Gen AI, you can do that much better, much faster. So for instance, something that may sound as simple as analyzing survey results. Well, even in a B2B world like mine, I'm getting thousands and thousands of client comments for any survey I'm getting. And so, of course, I want to respond to this comment to prioritize the pain points and so on. So what Gen AI helps us do much faster, much better. Every time we have a comment from a client, Gen AI helps us detect, okay, is that comment positive or is it negative? And then the other thing is that what kind of theme is that comment touching on? For instance, we have a lot of solutions with data. So maybe the comment is on data, but is it about data accuracy? Is it about data timeliness? Is it about data coverage? And, and the list goes on. So Gen AI helped me and helped my team categorize some comments, make sure we say what is positive, what is negative, which themes, and we do stat on that. And what was taking like 100 hours to compile, at that time, we're already using machine learning. Now with Gen AI, it will take us 3 hours. But the good thing is that because it's much faster, then we can also respond faster to our pain points and make sure we're detecting something that, is really important for our customer to work on. So that's what I call an example of what I call empathy at scale, where really the technology can help you listen to your client globally and respond really fast.
Yeah, those are, I think, exactly, go back to the benefits that you talked about earlier. That's, those as from the customer side, that's we used to, have like, okay, after you give us your input, and then our response time is before it's like 1 week, 48 hours, 1 day, and a few hours, and then now it's like a real time, right? And then go back to your comment about what drive all that is the customer expectation, right? When customer expected you to really just listen to them more actively, and then provide feedback more actively and also more accurately, and also those help are exactly to the pain points. I think all of them are really the driving force for many of the exciting AI driven innovation, and that's what you have done just now. It's very nice to just break down the customer experience, the whole life cycle, and see where at what point where that technology can play a role. And of course that's you can see all the human or collaborative intelligence behind that as well. It's not really only an AI, it's a combination of AI and also many of the brains behind that to just really that customer expectation, right?
Exactly. And something else that is driving that is also the speed of and the pace of world, and also the acceleration and the integration of risk. Of course, we are at Ethics in the risk business, but something that probably everybody will understand, and I will share you really a concrete example of why our clients have rising expectation. For instance, last year, 24th of February, Russia invades Ukraine. Well, within a matter of days, sanctions are taken that we have never seen that pace before. And when two oligarchs are put under sanction, it's nearly 1,000 companies you need to stop doing business with if you want to comply with your customer or know your everything regulation, and almost real time. So that's when when you are the one dealing with that in your company, you want things to move fast, you want to reduce false positive, you want help. And that's also contributing to the rising customer expectation we are seeing. What we call at Moody's exponential risk and integrated risk.
Yeah, absolutely. And also another interesting part of that is that when everyone else in your ecosystem speed up, and the risk of that you don't speak up will becoming a challenge or a gap from the customer expectation, right? And when you just talk about this specific case that regulators or the vendors or anyone who play a role there, and then now that's they all just be pushed by the customer expectation that we need that to respond faster. And then if everyone in this value chain started to speed up with AI and other emerging technology support, and then anyone who are in the value chain cannot follow, and then I think that's where we see a lot of business losing competitiveness and losing margin and all that.
Yeah, I believe for instance, Gen AI, as I think we'll continue that conversation, I'm bullish on Gen AI from a customer experience perspective. I think it will be great for our client, for customer centricity. But as you said, right, great, meaning the bar, is going up, so expectation as well. So I think if for company that takes that very seriously, they will maintain or increase their competitive advantage. But if you are complacent, you are going to, certainly lose some ground. So we definitely, as customer experience practitioner, it's exciting, but we have to be on our toes.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked a lot about the benefit side that, when it's after November 2022, when, OpenAI introduced ChatGPT, and a lot more attention, go into that. And of course, that's, in addition to the benefit side, that's, both corporations and society encounter challenge with the increasing integration of AI, and especially the Gen AI piece. And then we saw people are on the street. We saw many of the creators worried about their job taken. We also saw that, the problem of hallucination, bias, and all the issues related to AI. And, in your case, can you just give us some of your insights? What challenge do you see AI bring to customer experience in both, this context?
Yeah, well, I believe the challenge I see from a customer experience perspective are echoing a lot of, the challenges we see in general for AI. We are almost an illustration of that. But, let's share some example. Governance. I mean, for instance, when I've been talking to hundreds of clients about Gen AI this year, and who was really expecting what happened on Gen AI this year, right? and who was having a clear governance on Gen AI. I'm not saying on AI, on Gen AI in January this year. Well, the vast majority, we were not having it in January 2023. And for instance, at Moody's Analytics, we have put in place a specific Gen AI governance and a group to deal with that, but it didn't exist in January. At Moody's Analytics, we have changed our bonus pool to include some objective related to Gen AI during the year. I can tell you, I've been in the firm for more than 16 years. It doesn't happen that often that we change that during the year. Talking about something our clients are caring a lot, I mean, it's a must. You mentioned it, security, privacy, ethics, right? How to deal with bias. It's super important for customer experience, you know, people care about that, your client care about that. We have, so, and particularly for a company like Moody's, our clients are expecting us to deal with that extremely well. And it's a must. And not only that, they expect from a company like Moody's high quality. So if we innovate with Gen AI, we have to absolutely make sure that the hallucination risk, you know, is minimized and that they have something of, you know, that is extremely relevant, that is bring to them. For me, and I guess it's also, it's a case for customer experience, but it's even broader if you look at all the application. A big challenge also is the breadth of the use cases. I mean, when that stuff started, people were you know, even for customer experience, right? We're like, oh yeah, that's a chatbot for client service. Or, oh yeah, that will be that. Well, I don't know for you, Xiaochen, but for us in the organization, we have hundreds and hundreds of ideas.
Yeah.
Most of them are impacting customer experience. I mean, sometimes it could be internal, but then you say, you know, if the developer are, you know, coding faster, guess what? My roadmap, maybe we can, you know, we can advance it faster for our clients. So a lot of ideas. So how you prioritize, how you make sure you are handling the right one for your clients. And also, you know, you want to be ahead of competition. And a last challenge I would like to share with you, which is also relevant for customer experience, is risk aversion. So we, of course, have to address the risk for client, but we have also to acknowledge that sometimes the fear that AI could create could be also a barrier to innovation or a barrier to dialogue to address that together. For instance, a very a small illustration, an anecdote, but I think it's telling. In order to put our customer at the core of our prioritization process, we have engaged a lot this year on Gen AI. And a different fashion, we have done, of course, one-on-one meetings, we have done roundtable, launching communities and so on. But for instance, during the year, and I've organized roundtable in different cities, we were having a minority of clients, tiny minority, but still some, especially first part of the year, when we were inviting them, they were telling us, oh, I would love joining your roundtable, but my organization has not figured it out yet. And I cannot talk about it yet in any external forum, even a private roundtable with Moody's. So that's an illustration of risk aversion and organizations saying, well, you know, we have to be careful about this, right? So we will have to find the right balance with all these challenges. We need to take them very seriously, but equally reap the benefits of AI and Gen AI, otherwise we'll be left behind, right? So that's a balancing act.
Yeah, I fully agree with you on the balancing piece because, you know, these days, and I'm having daily conversation with experts in the space, and including regulators and you know, all sort of company from all sort of industry, and it's you definitely hear, you know, from the both side, and then from the industry side that, you know, the fear of you know, losing the battle, and then, you know, trying to just get more active in the meantime that, you know, there are regulatory uncertainty, and there are, you know, even rights which are yet to be defined and which need to be protected. And of course, then there's also, you know, from the regulator side that, you know, how to just change the current compliance system, especially if you're in the regulated industry. And when you launch a new product, and then how many more, examiners need to go into this. And then as what you said, AI, in one department have potential enterprise level of consequence, and then who should get involved. And there are a lot of questions which many organizations are yet to figure out. And then when they are yet to figure out, especially they are regulated industry, then they are scared to just even share any information. But if at this space, early stage, without sharing, how can you really collaborate, right? And the collaboration is really the key for innovation, for the next stage of what can be launched, and what kind of benefit it can bring to the market. And I think there, to have the right balance is really, really critical.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so my probably last question, and before we end up this conversation, is really looking ahead to the future, and what trends or developments do you predict in the field of AI driven customer experience in the next decade?
Well, hyper personalization and really a total change of the way you interact with the solution that are at hand. And I would like to illustrate something we are working on. So it's probably be the beginning of the journey, but it gives a very concrete example of how transformative Gen AI would be, right? So imagine, we wake up, we are a credit analyst. And today our management is asking us to compare, I don't know, Volkswagen and Tesla. And well, yeah, of course, we have access to great stuff, for instance, Moody stuff, right? And but you have access to the research, but you want to compare them, and you have your meeting in 2-3 hours. Well, you will be able to ask your research assistant, okay, write me a memo comparing Tesla and Volkswagen. I want to know the rationale for the creditworthiness comparison. And I want to have all the financial in a table with the two companies, well, sorted out with a ratio analysis. Oh, don't forget ESG analysis and climate risk scenario. And of course, I want to review the whole thing. And the research assistant will bring you the memo and with all the link to the sources so that you can check. And you can perhaps be ready for your committee in 2 hours, right? Well, all this stuff is already available in our solution, but integrating them within minutes in a way that is just relevant for you today, right now, with your management request, that nobody has done that before. And we are going to see that. I mean, our customers are going to be in beta testing by year-end on that. So imagine in 10 years, Xiaochen, what we will do. I mean, I would say it's a golden age for customer experience right now. That would be my conclusion.
Yeah, absolutely. Fully agree with you. And, this is just, we already are seeing, especially, from the startup community, and the excitement is there. And in any of the, profession, I saw, legal profession, financial risk management profession, or manufacturer profession, then there's always a real-time customer experience component where that's AI now kind of introducing some fundamentally different way of just on the job provide you that insights with the power of AI's summarization. That is we as humans just cannot compete with AI. And getting a meeting book based on that to give you the insights on the spot at a time, and then to immediately giving exactly the right information, right message, or right insights to your customer and then meet the expectation. I think that is itself will deserve a lot more conversation, more discovery. And I'm very happy that you and the Moody team are bringing a lot of community members, experts, and having the right conversation. And I'm very excited for the conversation, which will happen, next week or the week after. And again, thank you for this very insightful conversation, and I learned a lot from you. And definitely we'll have you back, and our audience can just continue this conversation. And before that, definitely welcome back again, and we can just discuss more. For tomorrow, we have another very exciting speaker, and who lead AI work at JP Morgan Chase. And so come back at 8:30 a.m. at Central Time, and continue our conversation. Thank you, Dominique.
Thank you, Xiaochen. Thank you, FinTech for Good. Great.
Thank you.
Looking forward to being back. Thank you.